Good afternoon, everybody. How's things? It's a bit cold, isn't it? It's one of those really quite mornings you've got, or afternoons, you've got to really wrap up and make sure that you're nice and warm. So I hope you are. I hope you're sat there with a nice warm cup of something to drink, and you've got your pen, pencil and everything else at the ready. And here we go. So tile 301. Goodness me, 301. So what are we going to be doing today? I've got a pure white tile, but what I've done, you can see just over the top there, look, I've actually put some ink on it, a little bit of salt up in that top area, and just let it dry naturally, so I've got a little bit of interest. So it doesn't matter which sort of way it's up, really, it's whichever way works for you. So this particular tile or design we're going to do works anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So if we're all ready, what do I have? Pen, pencil, tortillon. I've also got some pastel pencils here, coloured pencils too, and you know, everything else that you might sort of want, but use whatever you like, it's absolutely fine. And first thing I'm going to do then is I just want to find the middle. So I'm just going to use one of my tiles, one of my tags. I'm not going to draw a line all the way across, I just want to put a little line there just to make sure. And then the same diagonally. I just want to sort of have an idea, there you go, where my centre point is. So far so good, that's straightforward, isn't it? So next little thing then, I'm going to come in still with pencil, and I want to sketch myself. When I say sketch, I'm going to draw a bit of an oval shape, so focusing with that bit being in the middle, if I can. There we go. It was nice sometimes to come in with pencil to do this, because you want to make sure that, you know, if you want to get it right, don't you? There it is then, okay. So it's not quite in the middle. Maybe I could come in a little bit more this way. And bear in mind, I've used water-based ink, so I know when I use a rubber, this is gonna remove some of it. So that's okay, that's okay. So I'm gonna come in with a pen and put that oval in now. You see there's quite a few lines, so try not to sketch when you use your pen. Try and give it a clean line if you can, so you've got something to work with going forward. Here we are, see? You see, I'm sort of taking my time, just following it through, turning my tile as I go, so I've got a bit more of a... So there's my first little bit. The second thing is to find a bit of a rubber. Do you know when you've got like 10 or 20 rubbers lying around, you never find one when you want one? Look. And you know my pencil case has got so full. There's lots of other bits and pieces in there. Here we go, see I've got 2 at the bottom. There we go. So let's remove those lines now. And I'm just going to leave that centre one for a bit. Okay, bit of an oval. There we go, job done. All right, moving on. Just go a little bit bigger. There you go. I'm going to put a line just inside, a little bit of an aura inside this one. There we go, just all the way around. And again, you see, when I'm using my pen, I'm sort of trying to keep it to one pen stroke, if I can. So we've got a nice clean line to work with. Okay, there we go. So let's have a look now, sort of around the outside. Now again, if you want to do a small pencil line around the outside to help with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little loop. So you just want to take your time with it. Turn it as you're going. See? No rush with it. Just a little bits there. Okay. And sort of, now you get into a sort of flow when it starts. Okay. And sort of working it around, taking my time. Oh, Christine, that sounds good. Brilliant. Those gel pens are nice, aren't they? They just got that kind of a flow going on with them. I wanted something you could actually draw with and not just add a few dots now and again, see? You see, I'm getting into the flow with this now. And sort of creating these little loops all the way around. Okay, almost there. There you go. Alright, so we've got that sort of little row going around. So coming on this row on the inside here, what I'll do is I'm going to put a little cross there and a cross at the bottom. And I don't really need to move my tile because I'm putting crosses there too. Just want to make sure that they touch. So looking at each section now, I'm going to put one in each section, sort of in the middle, like that. And one there. So I've got that. And then in the centre of each one of those, let's do another one. If they touch, it's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. So it depends on where you want to, whether you've drawn them wide or not so wide. If you can add more in, it's fine too. I think this probably is enough for the size crosses I've done. And into this one. And then this one. There it is. Okay. So let's have a look at the middle bit here. So what I want to do, you might want to put a little cross in the middle. Okay, might go a little bit taller, because what I'd like to do is I'm going to create like a little diamond shape. There we go, in the middle there. And then I'm just going to draw a line up and down. And turn it again. It's a bit of rubber. Along there and there. So I've got that shape. Okay. So this one, I want to put a little mark sort of in the middle. And what I'm going to do is create some little triangles that come off of that. And let's do the same again. So imagine sort of about the middle there. And a little triangle in there. And then again, find the middle, a little triangle. And again, find the middle and a triangle. Okay. So with these lines, I'm going to come back, not about, let's have a look, sort of a third in. So I've got that kind of shape there. And the same there. So if I turn it round, I've got this line now. Same thing there and there. Alright. So now we've got these little triangle shapes. We can just do another triangle inside there and there. And I'm going to work my way around, creating these little triangular shapes all the way around. And then this one and this one. Okay, let's have a little look at that one. There we are. So if I just get rid of that little pencil line in the middle there. Okay, so that's our first little bit there. So I'm just going to come back in with my, shall I use pencil or not? No, I think I'm going to go straight in with pen. What I do, imagine sort of where the middle is. So, okay, if I draw that, that's sort of the middle. And I'll do the same sort of there, so I know about the middle. And then I'm going to add in a line either side. Let's have a look. Let's go a little bit more. There we go. I'll draw this one, then you can sort of see where it joins in. Okay. I turn it round. And there's the middle again. So if I gauge how much I've done there and do the same that way. So that from there to there and there to there is about the same. Let's put another one in. Okay. So if I do the same now with this one, so again, there's my sort of middle point. So imagine about a little gap there and draw that one in. Okay. You see, coming this way, I always turn it round so I can actually see that. I want to see that line so I can gauge exactly where I want my next line to be. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're loving the gem. Yeah. Again, remove those lines I don't need. All right. So I'm going to move back in. Oh. And what I want to do, remember this sort of little line all the way around? I want to create that same sort of design going along each of those lines, just on the outer edge there. Here we go. Same on this side. So it feels a bit weird actually drawing it on the other side. Sort of a slightly different movement. So if you want to draw all the same sides first, so maybe I could do this one. There we are. See, it's slightly different, getting a slightly different shape there. That feels more comfortable, definitely. So then I could turn it round and do the next one. There we are. Just take my time with it because, you know, it's nice to keep them a little bit uniform if we can. And this way. So each one is going the same way. There we go. So let's have a little look at that then. You see, so now I could come from the top and down, and that actually feels more comfortable. So it's always worth trying it if you're not sure. Do what's right for you. See? So that one's done. So I'll turn it again. Same on this one. There we go. Just keeping those little loops going. And then the same with this one. There it is, much better that way. Okay. So far so good. So just on the inside now, I'm going to come in and add a little row of stitching. And again, I always find it better to work vertically, top to bottom, but you might find it easier to go horizontal, whichever works for you. There it is. I mean, you could add all sorts of tangles on this if you wanted to. It doesn't have to remain plain. You could put swirls in and make some more decoration of it. But I sort of want to do something around the edges as well. There you go. So adding this little detailing just gives it a little bit of attention. There we go. You could always do little crosses, couldn't you, as well? Imagine some little machined type of designs or something. It'd be really nice. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So the next bit, and this bit you could actually bring in different colours if you like. I have done one of these just using the gel pens, so I can show you that in a short while. But yeah, I'd like to get that on top. Imagine what's inside, Joe, if you've got a gem like that on the top. Now, a couple of swirls. Okay, so let's have a little look at this a little bit closer. So what I want to do is make it a little bit thicker. So, into there, see? And then into that one. You see, I'm not going over the lines because we've already drawn them in ink, so just want to give it a little bit of dimension. You see, look at that. And let's put another one in here. So I'm not trying to make them the same. Don't want them to be too small, because of course when you come back in and you want a little bit of space to get them in. You see how that one sort of goes round? There are other ways of doing ribbon. This one's quite a simple, straightforward one that you don't need to do everything in pencil first. And make it out. I'm going to put one on this end. Maybe just do, no, I'm going to do 2 curl. And it's just a nice way of doing something a bit different with it. And of course you can always fill it with ink if you wanted to. And there you go. Or do you so with gems? Actually, if I've got the time, I do like to wrap gifts and really, you know, do something special with them. I think they look lovely. See, I'm going to go over with that one a little bit. There you go. Let's have a little look. Okay, so we've got that kind of thing. So, actually, I think I might come in, or shall I? Yeah, I'm going to come in with, what do I have? I've left my gel pens downstairs. It's okay, I'll come in with that a little bit later. It's not a problem. What are you going to say? We do have some. So I think because I've got red on here, I think I'll go in with the red gel pen. And I'm going to add some in. Thank you, Leslie.
I heard you.
She heard me. Oh. There we go. And we heard her run downstairs. So we can fill in, you see, little bits. You know, kind of sort of zigzag it. There you go. So you can still go back round with the black pen after if you want to. But nice to have a little bit of something in there. And being this is a nice colour, isn't it? There you go. I'll come back and do another coat after. So the nice thing about these, you can actually do a couple of layers. There we go. See, that just sort of changes it a little bit. Adding a few extra touches in there. So I can go over that line, see that I didn't want. And then in with that bit there. Again, it looks, you know, when you look at the tile, it all looks coloured into me, but when you see it on the screen, you think, no, I've missed bits. Because I'm sort of sitting a little bit further away from it than you would if you were drawing. See there, look, I've got a little bit there. I can come back and finish that in a bit. I was actually doing this, I'm actually looking at the camera now and not my piece, and that feels a bit weird, but that's all good. So I can come back and do another layer in a short while. There you go. Same with this one, let's sort of have a quick look. See, it's just giving it a little bit of something around the edge there. So let's fill this one in. Back into this one. And around. I just don't want to go over the whole pencil or the pen line around the edge, so I can add that to it later. There it is. And there's one more to do. There we go. Sort of fill in. And you could use a contrast colour. I could have used a gold. I've used red because I used red ink on the background there. But you can use whatever colour you like. But I think actually the next part, the next tangle, I think I will actually come in and use one of the gel pens, just as a change. So that's our starting point. So just before we move on with this, I'm going to come in with a little bit of pencil shading. I know it's a bit weird part way through, but I think because I'm going to go in with some metallic pens, it's nice to put the pencil in and the shading in first. So of course I'm going to do both sides of that ribbon there. Oh, Lorraine, sorry about that, but yeah, as soon as we've got our orders out for Hobby Maker, we'll be adding them to the shop. I know it's very frustrating with postage at the minute, but we're posting things out as quickly as we usually do. Unless it's a strike day, then we'll leave it and won't post it until the day we know that you're going to be able to, you know, at least they can collect it. So orders are taking two to 3 weeks to actually get to people. So please be a little bit patient with that, because we are doing exactly the same as what we always do, but unfortunately our couriers are not able to do that at the minute. So bear with us with it. Of course, anything gets lost, you know, we'll sort it out. It's just frustrating, I know. Okay. You see, just sort of softening that out a little bit. Just working my way down. See, just make sure that your gel pen's dry before you go over it. There we go. Just sort of keep adding to it. There we go. Last one. So you're just in swirls and allowing it to move out and fade away. And I'm not going to move this too far out, just want a little bit of shade, because I do want to put some colour on it, but it does need a little bit of pencil in there to go with. Okay, there we go. So next thing then, I'm going to come in with a little bit of pastel pencil, and I just want to add a little bit of colour in here. So I'm going to use my red, and I've got an orange and a yellow, and then of course definitely going to bring in a white. And if I put the white in first, let's go a little bit bigger. So what you need to be doing is choosing a couple of gaps there and actually physically putting that white in. You see, I'm not looking to blend it in any way, it's just about put some colours in. Oh, it's a cup of tea time, everybody.
It is.
Thank you,
Afternoon,
Leslie.
guys.
Okay, and you see with the red, it's a little bit stronger, so I'm just putting little bits in areas. There we go. And I know it's a bit tricky, this one, because you've got to do random. We don't want to be doing all the same. It's got to have some sort of randomness about it. Bits in. Looks a bit odd at the minute. Looks like I've spoiled it, but bear with me. There we go. A bit of yellow. See, just sort of picking areas. Maybe that one. Okay. A nice clean tortillon. So I'm going to work with my lightest colours first. We're getting that yellow sort of blended in. And then the orange. And the red. And, you know, it's a case that they're sort of going to blend in a little bit anyway. So I'm not too worried. See? Well, the rest of it sort of needs filling in too, but I just wanted to see how this looked first in terms of where we were putting our colours and things. So let's have a look at this. A second. There we go. See, we're getting little sparks. We definitely need some with white bits. And as much, because my tile started white, and It's only got some areas, you see, that quite dark. I'll just go back over a few. So we need to leave a few of those. So let's do another red one. You see, just sort of pick on some that are slightly different colours. They're going to pick up the light, see, and anything that's a little bit different, you're going to get a sort of a different reflection in. And it's a good, this, if you're going to use coloured pencils, they're great for blending. It works really well if you go in really dark with your colours. So I've left some white spaces there. So again, because I've used all the colours now, I'm just going to come in and blend where I can. Just sort of fill in those little bits. There it is, you see? Just picking it in. A bit of yellow there. And leaving some, as I say. So I'm just going to bring in my black pastel. Just add a little bit of darkness. Not in every sort of... You see, it's all going to be in slightly different places. And sort of not too much. I don't want to redraw the whole thing. Okay, maybe a little bit. Just in a couple of areas. And I'm going to use my graphite one to blend that in ever so slightly. See, it's just picking up in areas. That's all we need. There we go. You see, it just sort of works its way in with that shadow. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to come back in now. I'm going to go with a gel pen. So not necessarily, not the red, I think. I'm going to go in with the gold one. Now, if you're never sure about your pens, I know in this case we can't turn over and try it because I've got ink here, but always perhaps do a scrap bit, or you know the bit that you lean on when you're doing it, and then you can try your pens and see how it's going to look before you do it. So let's put some of this gold in. We'll put a curl in. Let's go a little bit bigger. I'm going to fill in that top end. And then I'm going to put another one in. Again, fill that top end. It's kind of nice, isn't it? It's really changed a bit. We'll put some of this in there in a minute as well. So now I'm going to go underneath my ribbon. Fill it in. It's really gold, isn't it? You know, it's really yellow, serious gold, this one. And then again, let's have one coming in the top there. And again, I'm just going to fill that end with the gold in there. So let's work around to this one. I'm going to go over the top of that ribbon there. Fill that bit in. And then create another one. They don't all have to be the same size, they can vary. So that one I'm going to bring straight from there, like, and I'm going to go sort of under and over till you get a bit of a variation. And let's take that one underneath and into there. Okay, let's have a look at this so far. Okay, so we've got these lovely little gold swirls going on in there. Put another in here, so I'm going to come sort of this way. There you go, fill in that top end. And then another. And again, filling in that top edge. Back out. So I'm going to go over. Fill that in. So it just goes over the top. It's nice, isn't it? See that one? Sort of over and under. We'll fill that bit. Okay. One in here then. And again, filling that top edge. And one more there. Filling it in. And one here. So you see you're going to get a little bit under there. And so I'm going to go under there too. Okay. That's quite nice, isn't it? So far so good. Look how you've got those little curls going on. So I'm just going to add a couple, just a little ones. See, just around, going over there just to help break that up a little bit. So, going in different directions because we can go over the top of our black pen. And there's one in there, look. I don't want it all to be completely the same. Just to have a few, isn't it? Varying. As we go around. Okay. So I'm just going to bring my regular black pen in just for a minute. See where we've got these sort of lines. I'm just going to reinforce part of the ovals. You see just one edge. And then diagonally on the other side. Just to help that a little bit. And then back with the gold. You see a couple of these little pieces here. We can just add a touch of gold in places. Let's just go a little bit bigger so you can see that. There we go. Oh, sorry, that was my finger. See, just little bits. You see, it's all going to sort of reflect the colours from around it, so just want a little bit of gold in there as well. There we go. And coming back to the red. So I'm just going to go in and just in places and add another layer of red there, just in a few places. So say here, look, just add a bit there. A little bit there, just sort of helps with a little bit of a definition. Oh, thank you, Deborah. It's just nice, isn't it? I mean, sometimes, like say with gel pens, you don't really think you can get much shade with them and things, but actually just giving them extra layers just brings it on a little bit. Yeah. And let's have a little look at that. I will go back in and I will add those extra little bits there. So you see where you've got sort of, this really stand out at the minute, so what we actually do need is a little bit of something as well to come in and help counterbalance that. So let's add a couple of our little zingers in. I'm going to use the same red pen. You see, it's going to go over what we've already done. One there, see it's a little bubble on the end and then little curves all the way over to create those shapes. So you know, find yourself a space for them and add those in as well. So it's sort of bringing that red in and helping it out a little bit, where it's sort of going to go over the top of bits of gold and change the design a little bit. Yeah, I'll just work you around. Don't try and do the same amount or in the same place. We want something a little bit different each time. So that's going to go underneath that one. And then let's have one up there. One in there. You see now why we added some shade earlier on. It was more about getting that background in and then putting some of this over the top. Yeah, I've actually used an ink pad for the original bit of the tile. Joanne, yes, I used a red and then a little bit of spritz and then a touch of salt on it, just sort of more in this corner than that one. Okay, it's kind of nice to have that difference, isn't it? Just going to add some little dots, just sort of in that bottom bit there. You see? So I'm even going to go over the ribbon just with that red. You see, again, just be careful when you do this. We don't want too many, and you don't want to be leaning in it when you've done, because they take a little longer than a regular pen to dry. So. Okay. You see, just sort of little bits. So as we go round, not too many. Just want that little bit of detail in there. I think I'm just going to go back in to that gem just for a little bit. You see? Well, let's just pull out a touch. Where's my red? So here we go. So it's nice to go back. I know I've put that gold on, but it'll still come through. And I'm going to add in a little bit more colour. I want to go a bit stronger. So it's almost like going back over them. With a bit more of that colour in there. See, it's sitting on a tad. What I really want to do is make the whites that we did there stand out a little bit more. Doesn't matter if you've got orange where you originally had yellow or vice versa. It all sort of starts to blend in together. So let's put a bit of yellow in places, certainly in the middle there. You see how that's just bringing that little bit of strength there. And not forgetting, of course, we've still got some white elements in there, so they're hopefully going to show up a little bit more now. There you go. A bit more in there. There you go. Again, I'm just going to touch round with that tortillon. So it's not affecting anywhere we've put that bit of black on, because we've already blended that in. It's fine. It's not going to cause us any trouble. There we go. So it just gives it a little bit more depth of colour. So you can keep adding layers as you go. It's quite nice with pastels, you can do that. There we go, so we're getting a bit of something going on there. Okay, let's have a little look at that then. So there we go, so a little bit of a sort of the top of a very nicely wrapped present there today. Whether you do it in different colours or whether you actually just shade it. So many things you can do with it, as always. So I'm just going to come in now, I'm just going to add my name, my initials at least, over the top there. There it is. And okay, I've got one here that I've done on a darker tile, and I've used just metallics. There we go. So very sort of similar design. Slightly thinner ribbon there, but you can see having a little bit of a play and trying a few different bits of pens and things like that, you can do something really nice. So there you go, number 301, all done and sorted. And of course I've still got the advent tile to do today, so if you're into that as well, I will see you a little bit later with it. So enjoy and see what you come up with. So, okay, see you soon. Bye.